Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and of course, if you're looking for the perfect Christmas present, Ruffy, there's nothing better than getting yourself a wee Maestro top for someone you love, male or female, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, good quality, as you've said there on the ad. You know, you can wear them anywhere. You know, I use mine as a pyjama sometimes.
Do you want to use it in golf?
Oh, they're quite good for the golf as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Improve his play.
Yeah. Do you wear yours through to Easter Road because you can't get away with it?
Yes, because it's green. Yeah, I think I wore it Easter Road once and they get beat, so I put it in the bin.
Yeah, there's the red, white and blue one as well, Charlie, which...
I'll bring it out this week.
I think you should, Charlie.
I'll bring it out.
Blue is actually my favourite colour, amazingly.
Absolutely.
And usually when I wear the red, white and blue one, most of my mates growl at me, so there you are. We can't keep every fanzine happy, can we, Tam?
No.
Anyway, apart from anything else, talking of fans who are angry, we've got a strange thing. I know I try and talk about football as much as we possibly can, Ruffy. A statement released by the Green Brigade which says that, well, this is what it says regarding the constant furore over Bernard Higgins' possible appointment at Celtic. The Celtic support has united to send a clear message to the board that Bernard Higgins is not welcome at the club. An open letter sent to Michael Nicholson, co-signed by all prominent fan media outlets, podcasts and websites, and over 250 supporters clubs, made it clear that fans oppose the Higgins appointment and will refuse to engage with him. Against Real Betis, and if necessary on Sunday against Motherwell, we will remain silent for 90 minutes and ask those who support the campaign to join us. We will gladly call off Sunday's silent protest should Michael Nicholson agree to meet with supporter organisations to discuss the issue. Well, there you are, Ruffy. So suddenly, a section of the support will be silent. Maybe a chance for the other 57,000 just to sing the Celtic songs.
Yeah, they seem to be wanting to call the shots. There's no doubt about that. And it remains to be seen which way it goes. You know, it depends whether the board are going to be strong enough to say, right, it's our appointment, we're going to go ahead with it. But 250 supporters clubs is quite a lot of people, you know, who are totally against it. But I think we just have to wait and see how it goes.
Why don't they make a stand at the League Cup final where everybody's watching instead of Thursday night, game means nothing, Real Betis, Motherwell at home, nobody's going to see it. Make a stance if you think you're strong enough, make a stance at the League Cup final. The Green Brigade, if they think they're that important to the club.
Yeah.
No?
Well, no.
Why not? No. Because everybody's going to watch it.
Well, absolutely, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one to pass comment on whether what they should do, what they shouldn't do. I embrace anyone that comes to Celtic Park or any other park in Scotland and sing songs about the team.
Yeah, but they're talking about having a statement because of Bernard Higgins and that.
Yes.
Make a statement at League Cup final then, where everybody's going to be watching.
Well, they may well want to.
They won't.
I think what I think they will do is consistently put the banners out. It's for Celtic to decide who they have as a safety and security advisor. You know, this clearly has incensed some Celtic supporters. I'm not here to judge the rights and the wrongs of it on this one. That's for Celtic and Michael Nicholson and the board to look at it and say, is it worth more hassle, or are we going to allow a small contingent of a support to dictate policy?
Ruffy's hit the nail on the head there. It's all about what they do. You know, they've got a decision to make now. Do the bout of the Green Brigade and don't appoint Bernard Higgins, or do they say, you know, we're calling the shots here and what we say goes, and you're going to upset, as Ruffy says, a lot of supporters. So it's interesting to see which way they go, but see.
Yeah.
Can you remind everybody again why they don't like him?
Basically because he was one of the main instigators of the Offensive Behaviour Act, which basically was, in my view as well, unfair on large sections of supporters. You know, and a lot of supporters have been, mainly Celtic and Rangers at times, have been kettled into grounds, and I think they feel as if the treatment of the supporters has been unfair, and it's sometimes, you know, some people have had a major gripe with the way they've been treated by the police. So they view Bernard Higgins as one of the people at the forefront of this act. So that's why they want to make a statement about it. I have great sympathy with it because I thought it was an unfair act. How you go about protesting, how you go about dictating policy to a club is a totally different game. And some people might suggest, well, wait a minute, if you don't like it, you don't want to support Celtic, there's another 3,000 waiting to take your place.
Exactly.
You know, but I I would say this, and I'm all for fans who sing songs and create a great atmosphere. I'm not for songs of IRA in a football ground and using the club as a platform. But there are a lot of good fans who go there, a lot of people who are part of the Green Brigade who might be just thoroughly decent people. So it's a difficult one. I wish they would sing just Celtic songs because they do create a great atmosphere. Yep. The morons who threw the stuff at Barry Mackay is despicable. But
a lot of Celtic supporters don't like the Green Brigade. A lot of supporters don't like the Green Brigade because they think they're dictating to the club what's happening, and they would like to see the back of them. A lot of Celtic supporters as well.
It won't affect the players. If there's no atmosphere or they stand and they have a protest, it won't affect the players. Will just go into the business and go and win the game. That's what they'll be focused on. They'll block it out and whatever they do is hanging. But the players are the most important. And if they keep getting results, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right, because that's exactly what Stephen Welsh was saying about the possibility of silence from a section of the support.
In terms of when you're actually on the pitch, you kind of try and block out all the noise anyway. We know that the fans are the probably the biggest help to us. I think you saw that when there was no fans, how much we struggled to deal with having no one there, no atmosphere, especially at Celtic Park. But personally, you try and block out the noise. Your full focus is on the game ahead and what you're trying to do in the game.
Yeah, no surprise players are not affected by it. But I do think, and my last point on this, and I don't know if you agree with me, Ruffy, I do think whether sections of support like or loathe the Green Brigade, I do think that Celtic should engage and sit down and talk with them and explain their situation, explain maybe why they're going to appoint this guy or whatever. You've got to get to a situation where you give both parties the chance to air their views and then move. The club has to then make a decision to be forthright in why they've made the decision and move on. If it alienates the Green Brigade and others, then that's just something that they're going to have to deal with. But I don't think you should ostracise them right now. I think you should talk to them, not give them any greater importance than any other Celtic supporter, but say, this is why we're doing it, we move on. If you don't like it, then
that would be the sensible thing to do. Get around the table and talk about it, and then you got to make what you think is the right decision. But the bottom line of the whole thing is we will move on. The club will move on in a year's time or 2 years' time. They won't be talking about it, depending what they're going to do. You have to get over it, whatever decide. And you're right, they do bring something to the game as long as it's positive and it's not political. Because they are a large part of the club, and some of the stuff is great that they do. Yeah,
we like talking about all the positives in the game, and of course we do like a laugh. We do like getting caned every now and then. Some fanzines, some like us, some don't. Charlie, most of our staff come in laughing heartily because they like you. Follow. They thought you were okay.
They like their own people,
but they. You didn't come out well, no. And of course I'm not one of the most liked people on that website. But I thought they summed it up brilliantly, Ruffy. Don't worry about yourself, you're fine. I thought they summed it up brilliantly. For Gabriel Antoniazzi, who is a regular journalist on the programme and reporter out to the grounds, and some Italian lad. So let's hear from some Italian lad as he previews Real Betis against Celtic and of course Lyon Rangers.
Thursday brings both Rangers and Celtic's final Europa League games of 2021, but both already know their fate, with the Gers heading into the knockout stages, but the Hoops dropping into the Conference League. Rangers are in France to face Group A winners Lyon in the early kick-off, with their fans finally permitted to attend after 2 U-turns. Their opponents are desperate for victory to become the first French team to win all 6 group games in the Europa League. However, they are struggling for form, having won just 2 of their last 5 games, and they sit 12th in Ligue 1. Lyon did win convincingly at Ibrox in September though, with Karl Toko Ekambi scoring one of the 2 goals. He's the tournament's top scorer with 6, so watch out for him. These 2 sides have only met 3 times before, and the away team has always won. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's men will be trying to replicate that 2007 performance in France when they stunned their host 3-0. As Celtic welcome Real Betis at 8 o'clock, knowing this is their last game in the competition. The Spaniards are guaranteed second place with 10 points already, and they beat the Hoops 4-3 in Seville in the group's opening game, despite Celtic taking a 2-0 lead. It's the first ever time the Andalusians have played at Parkhead, the club who of course inspired their own green and white stripes back at their inception. Betis are flying right now and are third in La Liga, ahead of Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, whom they beat 1-0 at the Nou Camp last weekend in their latest of 5 wins in a row. They may rest some players on Thursday, but expect another cracking game between two attacking teams.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I don't like the suggestion that there's nothing to play for. We know it's a dead rubber with regards to Celtic Real Betis, but there's things that the manager will want to take out of it.
Yeah, he'll want to take out the players that if he gives players an opportunity to play. Are they, a good fitness one? Are they understanding what he's wanting from his team and his squad? But also there's 600 grand at place as well at stake, for a win. So it's a bit of finance there for Celtic. So no, they'll look to try and finish high and take that momentum into the League Cup final in the next couple of weeks and the games going forward. But Ange will probably use this as a game to give people games for this busy period coming up.
It's a good point, Ruffy. The finance is key to it. It's the difference between just pushing the boat out to get the player you really want.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying, a dead rubber, but if you're in that starting 11, you're not walking out of this park saying to yourself, this is a dead rubber. I want to do well here, I want to impress, I want to be in this team, I want to be in the cup final, I want to be part of all the games, so the guys that are picked will go out there and give their utmost 100%, and if they win, they get Charlie said, the 600,000, but as a player, it's all about doing your best for the club and yourself.
Yeah, couple of injury worries. Anthony Ralston's going to miss out. Stephen Welsh is back. James Forrest won't play. I think that's just precautionary. I think Jota's a wee bit away. He might be in a race for the Old Firm game.
Yeah, I think he's going to miss the cup final, which is obviously good news for Hibs, but bad news for Celtic. He's been exceptional this season. Hamstrings, particularly if you're a wide player and you're that explosive nature, it's
pulled up
difficult.
so quick as well.
He's definitely pulled it. So for me, it was a 3 or 4 week job, so he is going to be tight for the Old Firm game.
Yeah. Also, there's been a fair bit of flack coming Kyogo's way. Is it warranted? Is it not? Give us your views on that. Thank you to the countless amounts of people who post their messages, decent messages about their club or their players or anything that we are talking about on the show. You can also, if you download the PLZ Soccer app, in submissions, drop us a little bit of an email and we automatically get it coming up on our feed and we can read them out. But Kyogo, what do you make of it, Ruffy? I think some fans, some pundits, a lot of people looking at it and saying maybe he's guilty of diving too much.
I've only seen 2 or 3, the one that brings to mind.
Only 2 or 3.
Yeah, the one that brings to mind is the Halkett one, where Halkett bangs into the back of him and he does fall down, but you're going to do that.
Yeah. What about the penalty one? That was a strange one in the last minute against Levy with the hand on the head.
That was a bit silly. Then that was a silly one. Yeah,
is that number 4 then?
Up. Yeah, but in saying that, I think back to Chris Sutton. Chris Sutton was a master at going down round about the 18-yard box and getting free kicks for his team. And when you're in that position and somebody's behind you, touching you, if you can get a free kick for your team, it's part and parcel of the game now. I mean, it really is.
I'm not sure Chris Sutton's a good comparison, Ruffy, because Chris Sutton he could feel the centre back coming and he would wait and let them barge into him. Yeah. That's a clear barge. Yeah. We're talking about a guy whose simulation is getting to the point where it's frustrating a lot of people. Now, I don't think it's a red line at the moment, but I think people are starting to notice, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, but it's there. He's done it once or twice. It's been picked up. The coverage will obviously explode because he's a Celtic player, and as players that are going to play against him, you have to watch. Just have to say to the referee, watch what's going on. But the only thing that'll hurt him is every situation now that he goes into a tackle or he goes down, the referee will have to think about, well, is it us or not? Because they do. The referees know what's going on. They look at your previous history or what's going on. So it's only them. But I don't think it warrants the abuse that he's getting and what people are saying. At the end of the day, he's let's say 10 stone or whatever he is, and he's coming up against big lads, and at times, he goes down a little bit easy, but he's got to try and buy free kicks for his team.
Yeah, well, Ange Postecoglou is having none of it. He's just fired back at people who are ignorant.
Who are these brave people, these warriors who, accusing people who are out there you know, Kyogo's the size of a jockey. He's playing against guys almost, you know, foot taller than him, and all these brave warriors on the outside are casting aspersions, are they? I haven't read it. I won't read it. You know, you end up in arguments with ignorant people. Yeah, you'll eventually become one of them.
Yeah, I disagree with Ange there. He says if you end up arguing with ignorant people, you eventually become one of them. Well, I think if there's criticism at times for every player tries to gain an advantage. Mm-hmm. Some cheat, some win the advantage because at the end of the day you're trying to win the game for your team. That's not justification for it, but to suggest that people are ignorant because they're having a go at them, I think's well off the mark.
Yeah, I think it is. I think if it's your team, if you're supporting it's your team that's on the receiving end of it, then I think you're going to be angry. But I think if it's you're buying fouls, you're getting decisions and it's your team you support, I think you would turn a blind eye to it. So I don't think he's doing it that much wrong. I think he's coming for a culture in a totally different league in Japan. He's coming to Scottish football. Scottish football is physical. It's a physical game here. And maybe he feels as if when he's getting touched, he's got to go down or whatever to try and get fouls or whatever. But I don't think he's cheating. I just think he's trying to, as Ruffy says, sometimes as a striker you try and buy fouls. You know, and if people are winding him up, I think Suter kind of nipped him. He did. You can see the footage when Suter goes on nipped. He's got to put up with that. That's part of the game as well. You know, I played against defenders who would stand in your heel and stand in your toe and try and get you to react.
Yeah.
You can't react.
Who did that?
Big Bob Malcolm done that at Rangers. Who else? Sutton when he played centre half.
Amaruso maybe.
No, Big Amo was alright.
Yeah.
Aye. A boy Skeller that played with Dunfermline, remember him?
Oh yeah.
Lithuanian boy. Oh, he was a rash. He was a good defender. He was a rash. He was already. But as Ruffy says, when you feel that contact, you know you go down, and that's just part of being a striker. And managers tell you, you get touched and run about the box, you get yourself down. So I just think it's part of the game. I think people are taking that a wee bit too seriously.
Yeah. Was there ever a player that would play against you, Charlie, and automatically stand in your toe, a wee nip here and there?
No, not really, no.
No?
No, nothing. Probably that's
Played
me.
lots of nice people, yeah.
I've played for it, yeah. No, but it's just, I think you can, back in the day you can get away with it. Now you can, if you touch anybody now, they go down screaming or whatever.
Cameras and stuff.
But I just don't get some, like, when you get a foul, and it is a foul, and referee says play on. I don't understand it. So
yeah, well, I think there's a difference. What's happening now is, as the directive changes season in, season out, you have a situation where they were clamping down on fouls. So the whole game was littered with the referee blowing the whistle, especially in England at one point, and it became over officious. So they said, right, wait a minute, everybody change, we'll have a big meeting of all the referees, let's even get it flowing again and stop it for stupid challenges. And then, with that comes the criticism and the flip side of it. With regards to Ange, I think he's like most managers who come in the early period of their tenure as the boss, Ruffy. I think what happens is the PR people fill their head full of nonsense. You can ask a question of a manager about anything. You're not necessarily, in most cases, offering your opinion. You're asking for his thoughts on it. If you're in the pundit situation like we are, if you think a guy's diving, it's not ignorant because you think he's diving. It could be a statement of fact that he's tried to win a penalty, a free kick, and he's been wide about it.
Yeah, I think his choice of words wrong. I think he could have used his statement a wee bit better by eliminating that word that I think would offend a lot of people. But no, I think players in general, there are certain players on every side who go down a lot easier than others. Boyle at Hibs. At the pace he goes at, when he's touched, he goes down. I think Ryan Kent, if he's touched, he goes down as well. So it's not deliberate, it's just part and parcel of the game. Now, the game has moved on and maybe the players are getting quicker and they're taking their chance. Or slower,
Yeah, absolutely. Calm down. It's fine. There's also a point here which I think Celtic deserve some credit for, and again, it's all to do with waiting for information to come out. And at what period a club would act on certain issues that come out into the public domain. And one of them was, of course, we were quoting on the show ex-Hearts chairman Leslie Dean. Celtic said that they are totally inaccurate comments made by the ex-Hearts chairman. Dean's, of course, claimed Celtic failed to apologise to Barry Mackay after he was pelted with objects after the game. I think the question I was asking was, does it take Leslie Deans to come out and say that? Should Celtic have acted quickly? And of course, Celtic have said in a statement his comments are inaccurate. He's clearly unaware that we've already made comment and that we were in contact with Hearts immediately after the incident, which is being handled.
Did they put that statement out publicly, the apology to Barry Mackay? I didn't see it.
Do you need to do that?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think you have to. Why did Celtic have to say, the incident? Yeah, unless they found whoever threw it. They don't need to come out and say to apologise to Barry Mackay. If the right people at Celtic have contacted Anne Budge or whoever's in charge of hanging to speak to Barry Mackay or write him a letter or whatever, I think that's enough. We don't have, everything doesn't need to be in the public.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on that. I also think, Ruffy, they caught one person. There's 4 or 5 people easily could have been taken out of that end.
Yeah, and I said it the other day there, CCTV is so far advanced now that in the police area, they could zoom in that area and I'm sure they could catch as many as they liked, because that's the way technology is just now. And I hope they are, behind the scenes, identifying more than one person, because it needs to be stamped out, because somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah,
okay. And I'm going to read this out because obviously it's great for a noise up. Isaac says, media have been a disgrace to Ange since he came, making out like he's come from a different planet. Scottish media have taken wrongly to foreign managers before. Ange is clearly fed up and biting back. Isaac, we've got no problem with a manager biting back. I think he's been cut a fair bit of slack to give him the time to build his own side. I mean, I think some people have got selective hearing, Tam.
Yeah, no, I think that obviously you look at the start that Celtic had under him, it was very, very poor, and I think he did. I don't think there was a lot of pressure. I think most of us knew that it was going to take time for him to get his ideas across, for him to get the right players in, so I don't think the media have gave him a hard time at all. I think it's just come from, again, a different culture, where he's maybe asked different questions, and he's had a nibble at a few journalists over the past couple of months, so that's well within his right. If he thinks somebody's, probing a little bit too much or being a wee bit personal, then he's going to bite back. But I think it's just part and parcel of the media.
Yeah, I quite like a manager having a ding-dong, Ruffy.
Yeah, well, he's settled in there and he's on a run. He'll be sitting there thinking, well, I can fire back as long as I like now. I'm winning games. I'm on a 1-14 wins,
As long as Starfelt keeps winning man of the match.
Well, you've got a bee in your bonnet about him. No, I actually think in the early days he was given more leeway than I expected. I thought he would have got a harder time.
Why?
With the results, the results.
Because he wasn't what the Celtic fans expected.
Well, no, the reason why I cut him some slack, and major slack, is he was second choice after the bungled board. They made a complete back end of the whole thing, and this man had to come in and win people over because there was a certain amount of apathy towards him.
Yeah, but listen, people judged him before he'd even walked in the door because he wasn't this household name, Eddie Howe and blah blah. But we as a group, or this programme, we all knew that he needed time. The amount of players, the changeover, Scott Brown leaving, the whole club was in a bit of a mess from last season, losing 10 in a row. So it was going to take him time. But all of a sudden now he's playing this good football. Everybody thinks, oh, he's actually a good manager. Yeah. He's always been a good manager. It was just needing his time and his processes, what he wanted to do to get it over. And now it's starting to show that they've got a good side, and like you say, it's just the way he's going at the moment. He's doing well, and he's having a bit of a nibble at things.
Yeah, and of course, as you know, there are many Aussies who the first step is forward. So
that's legend.
Well, it's great, isn't it? It's good, isn't it?
The Australians listen there. I'm a lot of Australian people, and they're no shy coming across with their opinions. So listen, I think he's been great. I think he's been good. I think on the park he's been good, and I think off the park, I like listening to Postecoglou. I like listening to him before the games, after the games. I think he speaks really well, and I think he's been a breath of fresh air for Scottish football so far.
Yeah, and with that, will he beat Betis?
No, 4-0 Betis. No, I think it all depends on the starting lineups. I think Betis are through as well. They might bring over a shadow squad. Celtic, I think, will play McCarthy, Ajeti, guys like that. All get a start, a wee chance to impress. So I think you'd need to look at the starting lineups, but I don't think it's. I think it'll probably be a low-scoring draw, to be honest.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, Rocky, does he have enough, even in his own mind, quality that can come through and give him enough competition. He's still building this side, and this second string, if he does do what Tam's suggesting, be interesting to see how many of them are at the forefront of his mind after the game.
Yeah, and I think, as Tam says, depending on what the lineup is, a few of them are on the line. Yeah, because a lot of them will know when January comes, he'll be having to move on, maybe 5 or 6. So this is a chance, if you're given the chance, to show him that you're good enough to stay and be part of the setup. So again, it's about team selection for me, and I think they'll win. I think they'll win 2-1. I think Betis have shown that they can concede goals. I know they beat Barcelona 1-0 at the weekend, but
Barcelona are rotten this season.
So I'm going to go Celtic 2-1.
Yeah, I'll go a draw. Charlie?
I think it'll be draw just because the amount of changes it'll be.
Yeah, Lyon Rangers. We've already said, Charlie, I don't know about you, but I think they've had the the wrong end of the stick, the Rangers fans, for the treatment from not only the French government but or French officials within the government, but if you're asking fans to shell out money, the way they've been treated is a disgrace.
Yeah, I think it was Alison's comment saying that they should be reimbursed. Listen, Rangers should be looking to try and do something, because these fans have spent a lot of money to go away, and one minute they can go to the game, next minute they can't, and there's been big issues. But at least there's some fans going to get into the stadium. Listen, it's job done. They can go there and relax, like you say. But these lads that are now not playing at the weekend or playing in the Premier League in Scotland now get an opportunity in Europe to show the manager, because the new manager not had much game time. You know, Scott Wright, Lundstrom, people like that might get an opportunity. Ryan Jack might play as well. So it's a great opportunity for these lads to go and show the manager that they are good players and they've got an opportunity, and if called upon.
Yeah, I wonder how many Rangers fans will eventually get inside that stadium. Giovanni van Bronckhorst certainly has great sympathy for those who will miss out.
It's very important for us that we have our fans behind us every game. So I can imagine it's not easy for the fans to be left in the dark the last couple of days, because you want to know what's happening. So one day they can travel, one day they have to stay, and the same day later on the day they can travel. So it's not easy, but I hugely respect their presence.
Yeah, it'll be a miss, because that's one thing about games in Europe. All the Scottish fans love following the club in any European games. It's just a great jaunt. You get to sample the delights of the city.
Going to bevy. No, it is. Listen, Scottish supporters love it. Whether it's Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, European trip, something different. You go away all these different cities abroad, and
St Johnstone.
Sorry, you can go abroad and you can go to a great game, different stadium, and go and enjoy yourself. So I think there'll be a lot of Rangers supporters will still travel, and they'll get in. Lyon are a good side, but they're struggling in the league. I think they're sitting 10th or 11th, so they're not doing well domestically. Again, depends what sort of team Lyon put out all the way through. And I think Rangers will be strong. Rangers have got a strong squad, as Charlie said. Guys like Wright and Jack and all that will play. You can play Roof as well. Patterson might come in, so there's a lot. Rangers could be pretty strong, but I think Lyon might just sneak it 2-1.
Yeah, Ruffy?
Now I'm going to go a draw on this one. I think Rangers have shown in Europe that they can compete, and I think Tam's right. Lyon are middle table, so I'm going to go Rangers to draw 1 each.
Yeah, Charlie?
It's just what really they do. If he goes and changes 11 players, it's going to be difficult. These lads need game time. I just think Lyon can edge it with the quality they have. Seeing what I seen in the first game at Ibrox, they were a quality side. They are really a Champions League team. But let's say they're qualified, they might make changes. So I just think Lyon could edge it.
Yeah, 2-1 for me for Lyon. Ronnie Porter, who regularly contributes to our feed, says, I heard that this Rangers issue about our fans and the Lyon game is going to the French court. You wouldn't put it past some people obviously taking issue with it, but it's certainly something that I think they've got a lot of sympathy. As far as Rangers are concerned, looking ahead beyond Lyon, there's certainly clubs that will embrace their supporters in the next round, because there you go, Charlie, potential Europa League playoff opponents. What do you make of them? Leipzig, Porto, Borussia Dortmund, Sheriff, Zenit, Barcelona or Benfica, and then in that mix, Villarreal, Atalanta, Young Boys, Lille, Salzburg, Seville and Wolfsburg.
Depends on who it's coming from. If I'm the players, I want Barcelona. If you're the board, you'll be wanting somebody like Sheriff, who you can maybe have a chance of, qualifying and getting.
They'd not a bad campaign though.
No, they were no bad. Obviously, they beat Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, which is
You would take a shot against them.
Yeah. Honestly, you really are. Honestly, it's actually.
Nothing was made of it,
he's now turning into Tom Cowan. I mean, it's just outrageous, and he kept a straight face as well, as if he was delivering the ultimate.
I think listen, Barcelona would be unbelievable when it's the big game you can get. But listen, I think any game in that, any of the teams are good teams. Even you see young boys against Man United in the Champions League. Good sides, and it's going to, whoever they get will be difficult, but as a player I would want to be Barcelona.
When would we ever say it's the right time to get Barcelona?
I think Barcelona will be in it, by the way. They've got to go to Bayern Munich away and get a result.
I know.
Yeah.
And Benfica at home, I think Dinamo Kiev are bottom of the league. I think it will be Barcelona. I think Barca will finish third.
Interestingly enough though, the funniest night of all time for us, Ruffy, was up in the gods at the new camp. Celtic were playing Barcelona. They were getting absolutely trounced. Can you remember De Vries, the goalkeeper? He'd put the boy Doris De Vries in goal, Brendan Rodgers, and he absolutely, was it Doris De Vries? Yeah. He just kept this. Pass the ball out from the back. The keeper must pass it. The back four must pass it. And as each goal went in, I mean, Barcelona were unbelievable. And there was one moment where Kieran Tierney looked up to wait to see who was on the overlap, and the guy overlapping him on the left back situation was Barcelona's left back, Eric Abidal. And we looked at each other and we thought, there's no hope for this mob.
It was just frightening that night. I've never seen anything like it. Every time they attacked, they scored. And the ability for even the centre halves was just unbelievable. The passing range of them. But obviously with Messi, my highlight for me was obviously you do the team talk in the dressing room and who's marking up and who and everything. And when the referee puts the ball down in the centre to start the game, and Kieran Tierney was out wide, and Messi wandered out to where he was. You could see the look in his face going, why you're here? Why don't you go there?
What was the score that night?
7.
At least you've got to see goals at the new camp. I've only been to the new camp once. I went for my 30th birthday. My wife treated me. So she went to the game, and it was Barcelona v Deportivo La Coruña, and we were in the gods as well. It was about €150 each a ticket.
Wow.
Barcelona had scored in 87 consecutive home games. What was the score?
No.
Who were they playing?
Deportivo La Coruña at home was the score.
0-0, was it?
Yeah, it was 0-0.
Wow, that is the worst. And this is just a side issue, and I know sometimes we don't like to get personal. Was your wife wearing the same dress you wore to Ruffy's 70th
No, she
birthday?
wasn't. No. She was more wrapped up than Ruffy. Put your eyes back in.
I'm just about to say.
Fortunately for me, I've had a bit of the taste of that old that new camp.
Thank God for that, Charlie. I thought we were off here. I thought that was the end of the show, Ruffy. I was sweating.
Get off the chair there just to get one.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Kept seeing them disappearing that night as well. They kept going out and coming back in.
That was brilliant.
It's a big pitch, that new camp.
Oh, absolutely, isn't half. Planes were being redirected. Anyway, apart from anything else, fantastic, Charlie. Okay, have we all given a score on Lyon Rangers? Yeah.
1 each.
Okay. Jack Ross, you're going to the game. It's another wee earner for you. Livy against Hibs. I think I'm amazed he's come out with this statement. That third is the target, but they're struggling to win games.
The last time they were in this points tally was 2013-14, and I think they get relegated. So, listen, I don't think Hibs are going to get relegated, but 4 points from 24, is no good enough. And they've got to start picking up wins. It's okay saying, we've got games in hand and we've got a cup final. The Hibs supporters are not happy at the minute. There wasn't a great turnout at the weekend as well. So, and they made their feelings known at the end. The team were booed off. So, I don't think the performances have been that bad, but they've got to start winning games, and it starts tonight. Difficult game at Livingston, but Hibs have got to go there and win. They've got a great record on artificial surfaces. Hibs, brilliant record. and they've got a great record against Livingston, so I would expect Hibs to go there with a full team and win that game.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you've got that good a record of artificial surfaces, why don't you lay one on your park then, Robbie? That would be the ideal situation. But I absolutely
Are they including the BSC that they beat in the Scottish Cup at Alloa about 4 years ago as well? Is that the record as well?
Everton. Robbie?
If they hadn't won the semi-final, it'd be a terrible place to be. The fans would not accept the position they're in now. The final is maybe taking away the focus of where they are in the league, but obviously that final is going to be finished. So they need to win games, because if they're there where they are now after the final, if they don't win the final, there'll be a lot of questions.
Livingston, St Mirren and Dundee the next 3 games.
Yeah, but with that, they've lost 6 of their last 8 league games, and 7th in the table is one thing, but can I ask you this, Tam? Sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture of a manager. Is there something significant from the tremendous finish to last season where they were? Is there something significant that he's lost, or maybe that certain players haven't stepped up to the plate? Is there something you'd put your finger on and say, let's cut them some slack, or is it?
I just think defensively last season Hibs were very solid. I was going to lots of games, it was 1-0s and 2-0s, and they were keeping a lot of clean sheets. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head when the last time Hibs kept a clean sheet. They're not scoring goals. 5 goals they've scored in 8 games, and that's not good enough for a club like Hibs. So at both ends, Peter, they're struggling.
Dodge's not scored many, Nisbet's not scored many. You know, they're hanging on Boyle really, getting goals, and you can't rely on one player to go and score you goals. You need not. Listen, other clubs can do it, but Hibs can't rely on just Boyle trying to score goals. Listen, Nisbet and that, they've been off the boil, a couple of injuries, but like you say, they're shipping, they're conceding goals that you wouldn't have conceded last year. And that's the difference as well. So, listen, I believe Jack's still a very good manager. I think he's come out there to try and maybe stoke the players a little bit to say, listen, you know, that a target's still there. We can still do that if we go on a good run. Because Hibs can go on and winning 4 or 5 in the bounce, without doubt. But they have to turn it around quickly. And tonight, you know, you're hoping that they can do that.
I think it's a strange league this year. You know, if you're taking Hibs, Hearts and Motherwell, they've went through a stage where they've only won 1 in 8.
Yeah.
You find that hard to believe that that's happening in this league and where they all are.
I don't, because there's the inconsistencies of it and the level we're at. Livingston,
I think Hearts, to be fair, Hearts have been just consistent all the time, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, they've been winning games.
Their home record
has been brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's.
I mean, Livingston, though, if you're ever looking for a confidence booster, it could be Livingston. You know, they're desperately looking to try and bring in some players in the January window.
But you don't want to be going
Jamie
there.
Walker.
But you don't want to be going there at this time. You know, be thinking, oh, Livingston are struggling. That is on the Astro. Livingston play some good stuff at times, and it is a tough place to go. But talk about Astro. I don't think you can make an excuse. We play there in a couple of weeks. I don't think you can make an excuse. Oh, we're going to the Astro, because they've all been there enough. Hibs have played there enough times. Rangers, Celtic, everybody's played in the league. Have played enough times on the Astro to know what they're coming in for. It's just, do the players have the mentality to go on a Wednesday night call? Do we fancy going and playing against Livingston, who are close to the bottom of the league? It's all about a mentality thing. And if Hibs show the right mentality and their good players turn up, they should win the game.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, and you're still playing in the top flight.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be a major move in the summer?
I'll get rid of it.
Yeah?
Get rid of it. It shouldn't be in the top league, but you have to deal with what's here at the moment. Listen, we played enough Astro last year. I don't mind it. Wraith's a good Astro, the other ones that we played in the Championship, I don't mind it, but in the top league it shouldn't be there, and hopefully come next summer they can do away with it.
Yeah, I mentioned Jamie Walker. He hasn't really kicked a ball for Hearts, and I think some managers will look, not only Livingston, I think St Johnstone have been sniffing.
Yep, I think he's a talented player. I think a lot of teams round about the bottom of the league would be interested in getting him on loan. Listen, Hearts have been doing well this season, as we spoke about. They've been consistent. You know, they've got guys like Gary Mackay, Stephen. So they've got wingers, and he's struggled to get into the team. So I do think that St Johnstone, Motherwell, Dundee, teams like that would all take him. So I think they'll be a queue at the door to get him.
Yeah, Callum Davison mentioned that he might be taking a closer look in the next couple of months.
I'm probably interested in a few. I think I said that I was looking to strengthen my squad, and I think names are popping up that I'm interested in. I'm interested in a lot of players. I think Jamie's a quality player, a good attacking player, so it's somebody I'll be interested in. There's a lot of players out with Jamie.
Yeah, so switching from events on the field and players that might be transfer targets coming up in the next month or so, Ruffy, down south, England once again seems to be following suit with us. It looks as if the fans are going to be asked to display vaccine passports from this weekend. No surprise, we've had that situation here in Scotland. We've been ahead of the game.
Yeah, we certainly have. In England have sort of went down a different route than us. They've not been wearing the masks at all. So they've obviously got to show some kind of sign that they're getting back into line with everybody else. So the figures are going back up again. So it's just safety for everybody, and not yourself, but everybody else you're with. So the more that we do it, the better.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it works. Trying to check people and then say you can't come in.
For the first time, I get checked at Easter Road on the weekend there. I get one of the stewards.
Yeah.
I was getting into the media bit and he says, "Oh, can I see your vaccine passport?" Now, look, I've had both my jabs and I've just showed him at my phone. But if I didn't have it, what would happen? I'm the commentator for the game. Could I not get in?
I think based on some of the previous games and listening to you shouting and screaming, I would just say, look, you're not getting in.
Do you think the chief executive Hibs...
Oh, penalty! Yeah. Oh, free kick!
I think the chief exec's like, I went to the steward, by the way, McManus comes in, just kidding. Just check it, just because we don't want him back.
Yeah, it is difficult, Tam, isn't it, to turn round to somebody, because I came out of the Celtic Park parking area, and one guy just said to me, "COVID," and I looked at him and he said, "COVID passport," and then I showed him it. That was before I got to the two guys, Jack and Jerry, who are lovely lads at the door, and they checked it and they're thorough with it, and they go through all the procedures and make sure that everything's above board. But I'd be more than happy, to show it. But I think some people who maybe get caught out.
If you've not had the jabs, I mean, they're not letting you in. I don't know.
You've had enough warning. People have been told you've got to have it, and if you're not taking the jag, then it's your responsibility. You've been told on the line.
It's a gamble you take.
This is the rules.
Yeah. Did Boris and his mates have it in Downing Street?
Oh, that seems to be part
of it. Charlie, a little bit of politics in the show.
Fantastic, Boris the policeman.
Yeah, Charlie Three Houses. Anyway, you'll be struggling to get back down roads. I've got to say to you, Charlie, the downside of it all is, never mind the upshot of it, the downside of it all is, you get games that could be played behind closed doors, because some people don't like talking about vaccines and the virus, but Omicron is the latest part of it. Bayern Munich, Leipzig will be played behind closed doors. It was funny last night when I was watching the highlights, suddenly you see Manchester City was behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's just in Germany at the moment it's a big rise, and I think Holland as well is big as well. So these countries are just taking the onus on themselves to close the stadiums down, and see Bayern Munich, some of the players that had the COVID that have not had 2 jabs, they refused to pay them because they were out with it, and obviously they've been told that they need to have it or whatever, and they've not had it, and they missed a couple of games with COVID, and they've refused to pay the players. So we have to try and do what's best for everybody, and if it is taking the jabs and getting these passports to keep the game alive and going in Scotland or England, you've got to do it. And like you say, I just think you're unlucky if you get checked and you don't have it, especially with big crowds. But if you have it, then you should be able to walk into the stadium.
Yeah, just before we talk about the Champions League tonight and the results from last night, another little story that's come in from one of our journalists said a building which has been called one of the oldest in world football could be knocked down after Queen's Park changed its plans to develop Lesser Hampden following the pandemic. The club has said the new plans will deliver a bigger and better stadium in a bid to build a director's stand for matchday hospitality, which is now being considered by the council. It would include the demolition of the Farmhouse, a former changing pavilion which has been labelled the oldest footballing building in the world. To accommodate these plans, the difficult decision has been made to demolish the Farmhouse building as its condition has deteriorated significantly over time. The club has announced this on its website, Ruffy.
Is that The changing rooms.
Yeah. That'll be interesting because I you know, if ever you think about some of the things that you drive past in Glasgow, I thought that would have been a listed building and there would be no room for manoeuvre.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was listed. It must be old. But I played in a Scotland under-16 game in it. You know, it just shows you how old it is. So, and I don't think it's changed down the years. Any time I've been in it since then, it's still an old building.
It's not going to get any newer.
No, it has to go.
Yeah.
It has to go.
But
Modern
you're not
day.
a traditionalist, are you not a guy with a bit of sentimentality, nostalgia?
No, if I'm going to a game, if I was a player, I would like to go into a lovely dressing room. I think we
You
all
just
would now.
heard the directors in hospitality. He wants to note down.
No, but I think like I'm all for keeping the old and bringing some of the old to whatever the building. But Queen's Park want to go forward. They want to move their club forward, and if this allows them to do that, obviously they brought in a director of football from Holland and things like that. Then you have to make that decision now.
Where's they going to build a new stadium, Peter, do you know?
On Lesser Hampden.
Lesser
So
Hampden.
they're going to knock it down and put a stadium on Lesser Hampden, which is...
Started already.
It's great. Yeah. It's great. It's good for...
Well, I think they're going to become the third force in Glasgow. I know that's going to annoy the life out of them, but they've got money, they've got plans. They are slowly but surely going about their business.
They'll never be bigger than Partick Thistle.
No?
Partick Thistle is my second team.
Is that right?
Third team.
Who was it? Like,
40. Well done, Tom. Yeah.
I don't worry for them because I think they've got good people there. I'm dying to see where their catchment area is for supporters.
The West End, the same as Partick
No, it
Thistle.
won't be the West
The
End.
yuppies.
No, it won't be.
Will it be Shawlands?
Well, that's the area they're in. I can't see people travelling. I mean, Clyde moved to Cumbernauld to Shawfield and nobody bought into it.
Yeah, but
And they went
that's
to
what I'm saying.
Cumbernauld.
That's why they're having to make that decision to knock down this old building to try and keep their supporters close, because with the money that they've got behind them, they can move wherever they want in Glasgow, really. But they think, well, in the long term, is it going to be worth it because our supporters are quite local? Let's try and get rid of this building to keep the stadium. And fair play to them. I like clubs that like your Kelties and Queens that want to spend the money and try and improve and go forward.
As long as their ambitions on the park don't start to outstrip the people who are coming in and paying their money. Do you follow me? You know, once you get to a Gretna situation where your ambition involves doing crazy
one person,
things,
but
you know,
one person signing the cheques.
yeah, that becomes dangerous.
But the people involved in Queen's Park have the money they've got compared to what they had at Gretna. It's night and day.
No, absolutely, I get that, Charlie. But I
But
still think,
like you say, the money they're paying, and your lads are turning up in BMWs and all that, and League One, League Two. It's, you know, as club cars, it was ridiculous at Gretna, wasn't it?
yeah, absolutely. And I think if they can build a good grassroots supporter program and maybe get kids younger in there as well, it's something that I think, you know, you guys do really well, is, you know, embrace the community.
Yeah, we've got a tremendous academy, and it is a community involved club. You can just see everybody coming to the game. It is local. We're not drafting in anybody from anywhere else. But the other thing is it's AstroTurf, Queen's Park.
Yeah,
New Park now.
Yeah, but
that'll change.
That'll change.
Yeah.
Once they get to the Premiership.
We said hurry up. They're ruining our park.
Aye. Yeah, you're getting weighed in.
Oh, that's a fair shout. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Shut up. He's only winding up. He's joking. Anyway, last night, I don't know what game you watched. I stayed loyal to Liverpool. Even the second string was too good for AC Milan.
I watched Liverpool as well, actually, and I thought they were excellent. Milan needed a result, but Liverpool were tremendous. I thought they totally dominated the game, deserved to win the game. Milan were poor, and 6 wins out of 6, I think, for the first time in their history in the Champions League. Brilliant, flying clubs, going really well.
Yeah, if I was the two boys who come on with a minute and a half, I mean, I'd be padding about Liverpool going,
Leeds win bonus.
Well, you know, there's the win bonus, that's the other thing.
Pay
By the
them
way, Zlatan, do you want to swap tops with me? You know, straight.
It's brilliant for these young lads, you know what I mean, getting the opportunities, and you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? And you know, to start in the San Siro, the Champions League is just incredible. And no, Jurgen obviously trusts them and likes what he sees and getting opportunities, because, like you say, African nations coming up now, they're going to lose a few players, so they're going to need younger players if they don't buy in the January window to get them to the end of the season.
Yeah, by the way, I loved that when he put the two boys on.
That's
I loved
great.
it. I was buzzing for them because who knows how good they are. They might never, but they can always say, "I played for Liverpool in the Champions League." Yeah, you can always say it's always in the CV, even for a minute. Plus they got a hefty wage.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely
Loved
fantastic.
it. I was buzzing for them. I was actually laughing.
If I was the two boys, first thing you do, Ruffy, apart from obviously getting the strip framed, is you get the picture of the two of you at the trackside. You never forget it. It's brilliant.
I wouldn't surprise, like a club like Liverpool, wouldn't surprise me if they get a picture for the boys, you know, and give them a commemorative and get their shirt framed and everything, because it's a great club.
Yeah, and here's how Liverpool's results fitted into last night's overall campaign. Leipzig 2, Man City 1, PSG 4, Club Brugge 1. I have to tell you, Mbappe was unbelievable. So was Messi. Scored one of his trademark goals with a left peg. Brilliant. Ajax 4-2 against Sporting Lisbon, and they're incredible. I just think many people
won 6 out of 6 as well.
Yeah, they should take a leaf. Some people should take a leaf out of their structure as well. Porto 1, Atletico Madrid 3, Real Madrid 2, Inter 0, AC Milan 1, Liverpool 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Sheriff 1, and Dortmund hammered Besiktas. Although I have to say, Atletico Madrid, they just, I don't know, it's not my favourite club, Ruffy, from down through the years, but they've got people that love to start a fight, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're very, very hard to break down. If you were a betting person, if you put 1-0 in the coupon every time they played, that you wouldn't be far away from winning a few bob.
They're the crazy gang, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're the new Wimbledon.
Yeah,
like just
it's no surprise Suarez plays for them.
No, but he's a lunatic. 2
reds and 6 yellows in that game.
They're brilliant.
Yeah. Every game's a red card. Just
but the quality, they are, but they get results, don't they?
Absolutely. It reminds me, every time I just hear the name Atletico Madrid, I automatically think of Davy Hay, who was on our programme, Ruffy, telling a great story about when they had 2 or 3 of the players sent off Atletico Madrid in 1974. It got to the stage where Davy thought, it's just gone too far, so he lamped one of them in the tunnel. and a few Glasgow police were quite happy to see that happen because of the antics of Atletico. So they go through with Liverpool. Liverpool top the group, and as Tam rightly pointed out, 6 wins out of 6, even with a second string team, Jurgen Klopp flying high.
Honestly, I don't feel pride a lot in football because it's most of the time I expect good things happen, to be honest. But that tonight fills me with a lot of pride. It's exceptional performance. I don't mean this, that we won 6 games. The reason is especially this game, and because it was so good.
Yeah, happy Jurgen Klopp. Here's how the games take shape tonight. What game will you be watching? It's Zenit versus Chelsea, Juventus versus Malmo, Benfica Dynamo Kiev, Atalanta against Villarreal, Wolfsburg Lille, Salzburg against Seville, Man United against Young Boys, Bayern Munich Barcelona. It should be, Ruffy, only one game. Which one are you going for?
I'm going to go with the Man United one, because that will be your worst fear, that the 4 English clubs are top of their groups and you think they're dominating the whole of European football.
Well, Ruffy, we've been 10 years on this programme, and 5 years ago I said to you the whole of European football will be angry, bemused, bewildered on how they try and bridge the gap. English football is going to dominate and win those trophies for the next 10, 20 years. It's going to have to change somewhere along the line, the structure, to offer other clubs a chance not only to get money, but to get a better chance of recruiting to take them on. I mean, if I hear any of their managers talking about they'll get injury worries, I always think, oh, ain't take a flying jump to yourself. Injury worries, are you kidding me? You spent over £1 billion at Man City.
Yeah, you're right, and the success is there, and you've seen the supporters buy into it. Stadiums are full every game that they play, and they love it, every minute of it. But yeah, when it gets down to the crunch, you want to see the big teams there.
Yeah, absolutely. Which game will you watch tonight?
I'll watch Man U. That's an English game and English team, so yeah, I'll watch it.
Why he's not watching Livingston v Hibs?
Well, to be fair, by the way,
the commentator, TV,
the commentator.
Mute it.
No,
that's my dad.
Ruffy said to me, oh, that's bad, isn't it? Ruffy said to me, if you want to come round to the house and watch Livingston TV and watch Livingston Hibs, or if you want to just nip round and scalp your tennis racket over my head, so I'm going to just come over and scalp the tennis racket over your head.
What you do is you record it, and then every time he goes to speak, you just fast forward.
You're doing well, Tam. That's it. Don't listen to anybody. Charlie, It's not a bad prize, is it? It's not a bad prize.
No, it's a beauty.
All the way to the 17th, we're giving you the chance. If you like what you're viewing, then hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll get all the notifications as well. You can win yourself this Xbox. If you have our Facebook page, then like PLZ Soccer's Facebook page and share it if you can. And if you see the video, share it with your friends. And the minute you share it, you'll automatically be in the hat to win this. So even if you have already subscribed or liked and followed us, then you can still find a way to get into the hat. We'll pick out one lucky winner on the 17th of December who will be taking an Xbox home for Christmas. It's not a bad prize. In fact, as we started this show with some people obviously deciding to name their favourite panellists, let's hear from some young Italian lad as he tells us about the Xbox.
Christmas is the time for giving, and this is your chance to win an Xbox One with us here at PLZ Soccer. All you've got to do is subscribe to the PLZ Soccer YouTube channel and share this video on your Facebook page. The winner will be announced next week, just in time for Christmas, so good luck.
Yeah, always nice to hear from the sand dancing Arsenal fan. And
He's a sand dancer.
It's a great prize, Tom, isn't it? I mean, you up in the scope bride, that would be.
Oh,
yes, absolutely it would be. Anyway, apart from anything else, brilliant. Good luck if you want to enter the competition, and join us if you can tomorrow on the programme, because Tam Cowan will be with Ruffy and myself talking more football, and we'll look in greater detail at the games involving Rangers and Celtic in the Europa League. Enjoy your football tonight from Tam, Ruffy, Charlie Adam and myself, Peter Martin. Thanks for watching.